Welcome into Beat the Bookie, where today redemption is spelled Johnndales. Look, I've heard all your complaints after last time. I've gotten a bevy of calls, emails, letters, telegrams, everything saying, I put all my money in your picks, and now my family's on the street. Look, that's fair criticism, but I got a first here on BTB. All of my picks this week are locks. That's right. After a subpar performance last time, you can take every one of these picks to the bank. But before we get into it, we got to look back at the last time that I was on the show. And yes, I certainly did come up short, ended up in the negative. I bet on Alabama, and Alabama came up short for me. But let's look at last week in the program, and that was when Will Shea was on. He lost $14.09. That's a step in the right direction for him, though. We're going to pull up the standings for the whole year now, and look, it has been absolutely brutal on BTB. We're in the negative total, and Tyler Melito is putting on an absolute show of a performance. Every single week he gets further into the negative, and it seems to be dragging us down as a whole. But look, minus 20 for me the first time I'm on. I'm going to go above and beyond this time. But let's start out by getting into our big games. And we begin with the purest form of football. It's Army against Navy, and Army is an 8-3 football team. Navy is 3-8. That's all you need to know for this game. Plus, I'm going to say it, it's Army's rivalry now. Take a look at what has happened since Jeff Monken has been hired. The Black Knights have won 4 of the last 5 against the Midshipmen. Army money line is minus 290. We start our betting off with $10 on that. We go ahead now and transition over to the hardwood for our second big game of the week. It's an old-fashioned Big Ten rivalry. 21st ranked Buckeyes of Ohio State take on the 22nd ranked Badgers. And look, the Buckeyes are 4-point favorites, and let's not forget, they beat the big bad Blue Devils in Coach K's farewell tour. I thought that Duke was supposed to waltz on down to the Final Four untouched because Coach K is everything. And, right, he's going to have an unbelievable last season. Well, E.J. Liddell certainly didn't think so. And he certainly doesn't think that the Badgers are coming into Columbus and getting a win. We know that this is a good Wisconsin team. They absolutely harangued Marquette. But the home court advantage means too much in this one. I got $10 down on OSU money line at minus 180. For our third big game of the week, we got a top 15 matchup. Number 9 Alabama, number 14 Houston in Tuscaloosa. Now, plain and simple, message for the Cougars here. You're not playing Alcorn State or Bryant anymore. You're hanging with the big boys now, and the Tide are battle-tested. This is a Bama team that just beat Gonzaga. The Tide are getting one in the hook. It's a 10 p.m. tip-off. I got $10 more down on Alabama, minus 1.5. I think it's too generous to Houston. Give me the Tide to cover. Give me the SEC bias. Alabama wins big. Now let's get into my 3 games of the week. We start off, number 11, Arizona is going to Champaign to take on unranked Illinois. What happened to Illinois? Everybody loved the Illini last year. They still got Kofi Coburn. He's averaging 16 and 8 a night. He's the difference maker in this one, and it's not going to be too big of an upset because this is a pick'em game. Even line, and the Wildcats are the number 11 team in the nation. State Farm Arena, people understand, is a tough place to play. Give me $10 on the Illini, minus 110. My second big game of the week, BYU against Creighton. Now, you didn't think I was going to go a whole show without shouting out Mormon Mafia, BYU in this one. Look, I picked them in my first performance on the show in football, and they won. Well, this is interesting because this game is being played at the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Why is that the case? I have no idea. I scoured the internet for hours trying to find an answer to that question. I simply can't. But I do know this. The Sanford Pentagon is the largest man-made structure in the city of Sioux Falls. Look that up. That's a fact. Why does that matter? I think it turns into CHI Health Center North in this one. Blue Jay Nation travels well, and 5.5 is a bit an absurd line in my opinion. Give me $10 down on the Blue Jays to cover that 5.5 point spread, but not to win. I think BYU actually does pull it out. Third big game of the week now, and we go to Notre Dame and Kentucky. And look, this is being played in South Bend. This is a game that the Irish won in Lexington last year when they were basically fielding a starting 5 of Jimmy Chitwood and the gang from the Hoosiers movie. The Irish are a far better team this season, and they're at home in this one. Now, getting 4.5 points seems a little bit too much. I got $5 down on ND 4.5. And in fact, I'm so confident in Mike Bray, in the fans packing into the Joyce Center, in Touchdown Jesus giving a blessing on the entire campus, that I got ND with $10 more down on money line in this one. They're my dog of the week. So that's 15 total, 5 on covering the spread, 10 on money line. I'm aware that the Irish just lost to Boston College, but what have we learned from college football this season? When a team plays poorly one week, they show up the next. Look at the SEC championship for further proof. And let's not also forget, this is a Kentucky team that was down at halftime to Miles College in a scrimmage earlier this year. Big Blue Nation going to be real blue this afternoon. The Irish win it in an upset. And now to my lock of the week, I got the UCLA Bruins in Milwaukee getting 7 points against Marquette, against the Marquette Eagles. That's right, they're not the Golden Eagles anymore. They lost the gold this year under Shaka Smart. They're officially just the Marquette Eagles from this point forward. And what's happened the most recent times they've played ranked teams? Well, in both of the recent 2 times, Shaka's boys have gotten run out of the gym by St. Bonnie's and Wisconsin, who we already know is going to lose to Ohio State today. That Wisconsin game was a beatdown. I was going to put $10 down on this game because all my picks are locked, right? It's going to be $10 across the board. But our executive producer, Calvin Cristoforo, he texted me, he said, hey, you got to put down at least 15 for your lock. I say, you know what? Make it 20. I was ready to make it all $100 because I'm so confident in this pick. Johnny Juzang puts up 30. The Bruins win it by 30. Now we'll move ahead. The game you've never heard of, we go to the A-Sun. It's FGCU. It's Robert Morris. The Eagles against the Colonials, a story as old as time. And look, I got insider information, and I consider myself one of the most knowledgeable experts on the A-Sun Conference north of Lynchburg, Virginia. Now, why is that? Think back to 2016-17. I was the A-Sun exclusive columnist for MidMajorMadness.com, so trust me, I know a lot about the conference, and I know the Eagles are back this year. They pushed USC to the brink in the first half earlier this season. They're giving 4 points. I think they win it by much more. This game's at Alico Arena, and the Eagles are battle-tested. They're coming off a 14-point win over Florida A&M. And you say to me, Florida A&M, how does that mean they're battle-tested? Look at who RMU just played. They just won against Lancaster Bible College. What? I'm not making that up. Now look, Robert Morris, you're not playing Little Sisters of the Poor anymore. Give me $5 on the Eagles to cover that 4-point spread. Now, lastly, we've got a Blue Bloods parlay, and every week people come in here with crazy parlays. I was a victim of that earlier this week, $10 to win 40. Oh, what if it hits? It's never gonna hit. I want all of the favorites. Give me Michigan State, give me Kansas, give me Ohio State and Auburn money lines. Now, Michigan State's Kansas is minus 10,000 to win. I'm confident in picking all these winners. This is actually going to work. It's not flashy, but you give me $10 down on that parlay, you win your $10 back, and you also win $978 because of the parlay. So let's take a recap at our picks. Taking a look back at it, Army minus 290 money line, Ohio State money line as well against Wisconsin, and then Alabama to cover that 1.5-point spread. Those are the 3 big games of the week. My 3 games, we start with Illinois taking down Arizona in a pick'em, then BYU Creighton in South Dakota for some reason, Creighton to cover the spread, Kentucky against Notre Dame, a couple of picks, both back in the Irish, Notre Dame plus 4.5, Notre Dame plus 160, then UCLA, they're going to thrash Marquette, Robert Morris is not going to be able to stay with FGCU, and then MSU, KU, Ohio State, and Auburn money line. All right, well, those are all of our picks this week. Remember, they're all locks. And again, thank you to our executive producer, Calvin Cristoforo, associate producer, Braden Reed. Their final show together, I'm John Dale signing off saying, enjoy the game.